Hey, there I am. All right, everybody. My name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. It is 6:33. It is July 2nd. It is Tuesday. Futures are down like 20 handles, which should be interesting. We've been in this 8, 9 day range where we've been trying to hold. It's been a little sloppy. Lots of people calling for a summer swoon or whoever knows what they want to call it. Bottom line is, every day there's been some opportunities if you're prepared and you have a process. My process is I sit here and listen to a little music in the morning like this. What I would recommend for all of you that are up early that try and, put their day together, go through 40 charts or so, sit, listen to music, have an iced coffee, and keep the TV off. No need to listen to the talking heads that don't trade for a living, that have producers write their stuff for them, usually a day or two early. And by the time you're listening to it, it doesn't really matter. No, I'm kidding. I have a lot of friends in TV. I go on TV every now and then. So there is some value added. So can't generalize everybody. And some people are like, why is the market in such a bad mood today? Um, I don't know. I feel like, the not to talk politics, but people are like, who the hell is running the country? Who's going to be the next president? What does it mean for the deficits that's out of control? You saw rates have its two biggest days in a while. So everyone's kind of like, oh, what does this all mean with, the S&P up almost 15% for the first half. So I'm not going to pontificate, whatever that word is. But here you are. The spies are now down 2, not the end of the world. Yesterday we were up $1.50. They sold strength, came in, and then kind of went into equilibrium. Now the question is, I think today will be an important day. Why will today be an important day? Because you have this upper range. Okay, you have a floor, which is this 542, 45. It's held pretty much, for almost 2 weeks. You had this loose and wide day that squeezed some shorts and baited some people in, but we held yesterday. So if this area were to break, and it's got to stay below, it can't just do a tail, then all of a sudden you have this 540 area, which is a gap that goes down to 537. So, do they break it on the Tuesday before a half a day on Wednesday before July 4th? I don't know. All I know is that I did sell some premium. I put on some 540 puts for July 19th, just in case they shake the tree a little bit, this summer. But I also have a bunch of longs that I've been massaging that have been working out very well. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world real quickly. We got Blair in the house. He's already rising and grinding. And Peter Sullivan loves the Pearl Jam. Moonshine. Yo, yo, what up, Scotty Gids? Middletown over here. We got It's front and center, rising and grinding on from Ridgefield, Connecticut. We got Austin in the house. What up, Jack? We got Dan from Lake Tahoe. I love Lake Tahoe. And Steve. So anyway, so here it is. If you remember yesterday, we were talking about what would happen with some of the key names that really, made us money last week. I was thinking Friday was a mechanical sell down in the last 5 minutes. So if you, were, bought that and added, you had a really rock star day. I had a rock star day for me yesterday. Why? Because, Apple basically took back that last 2-hour mechanical sell really fast. So to me, Apple's still acting well. I'm long Apple. I am long some calls for July 12th and July 19th. Today, Apple's down 86 cents. Not the end of the world. What I do think is I think it's probably buyable today to go green. And we'll see, there's half of yesterday hold. Sometimes what you could do is you can go to, the chart, right? So this is yesterday's chart. You go to the intraday and, maybe draw some lines, right? You want to draw some lines. I'm always drawing some lines. So you go to yesterday's chart to say, hey, what could kind of hold here? So this is where it broke out from at 12 o'clock, right? And then pulled into at 3 o'clock. So with that said, you go, no, not SMCI. You go back to Apple and say, hey, where's Apple? It's right around there. So this 215-ish should be a spot. Here you go. So now you have them side by side. So I will be buying more Apple. And then if it goes green, I'll probably be selling and I'll stay with my core. And that's how you massage positions. I'll probably buy a little SPY premium back that I sold and figure it out. And then if that doesn't hold, I would think this 214 is kind of the line in the sand. If Apple doesn't hold, just say 214 today, which was a lot of support from 11 o'clock. So this is the zone. So when I'm thinking about conceptually, what will Apple do? Well, if Apple wants to keep commitment to yesterday's move and keep this upper range intact for maybe a move through 220, if the market's going to be healthy, it should hold the 214 area. So that's just my thought process. My other stock that's been doing really, really well is Amazon. Amazon, I bought a lot of it into the close on Friday. People are like, Red Dog, oh my God, is this breakout still okay? I'm like, guys, we were buying Amazon here at 185, buying the 192 halves, and then, you had an inside day. This was your day to add. This was 189.28. Then you could have added above 191.70. And then you had 2 days to use your tier system and reduce, right? I think I got down to a third of my position up to 199. Okay, so I didn't really care that this was coming in. This was an opportunity for it to hold the 8-day. And then PS, now we just took back all of Friday yesterday, building a bull flag. The question is, how many days does it need? And is the market going to be healthy enough for something to make a higher high? If the SPYs break what I was just talking about before, 542.50, it's probably going to be hard for names like Apple and Amazon and some of these things to make higher highs. If today's just a range day where the SPYs go from down to and at some point turn green, that, by the way, that would be a rock star day probably for me. We'll make a lot of money, and that could happen if the SPYs open down 2 and break and close below it, and sell programs come in. Chances are these things are going to need more time. That's why you have to think about things prior. Anyway, so we'll see. Does this hold, continue, and go? I would look out for Tesla. It's going to have its deliveries, I think, today. Big move. This was my first big money trade in Tesla, I think, in a long time. I know we made some money on options, because it was so oversold into that better than feared earnings report. I actually didn't have it on for this trade. A lot of people did well, but then really it turned into a monotonous mess until finally our little Tesla antennas went going up right here and just had some huge size. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't have it on yesterday. My options went from 192.5. I was done at 202 and change, and I was away on Friday when I said, hey guys, if you sold 202, buy 196s, and if you did, you made some good money. It went as high as 213.23. I did not make that trade, but as your chief strategic officer, I think I helped guide a lot of people through it. So that's my job too. My job is to make you guys money too. And if hopefully I'm on my seat and I'm not on Fox Business, or I'm not doing Benzinga, or if I'm not meeting with, the brass of the company, I'm in my position to trade for a living too, and make some money. So anyway, that's that. I'm not in Microsoft anymore. I caught that trade and I just didn't go back to it. Kind of got a little sloppy here, but all in all, Microsoft did just fine. Kind of engulfed that Friday move. Looks like it's ready to go higher. This was my trade in Amazon. We all have different types of trade. My trade was I knew that this 433 was right here. When it triggered here, this is when I started buying options in Microsoft and got long the stock, and I held it to about this 453. So this was the move that I wanted. I wanted this 2-3 weeks sequence. You don't always have to be in things for months if you're a trader. You could be in it for a day, 3 days, 6 days. This was my sequence. I missed out on that part of it. Anyway, for those of you who caught Adobe, congratulations. I had a pro earnings gap. We talked about this a bunch of times. Held some guys along from like verse 505, and then others took it when it got through 535 for a nice move. That wasn't one of my focuses, but it was one of the charts I posted 2-3 different times for those of you that traded. That's part of my job also, like I just said. And, what am I focusing on today? What up, Sam? You know what? AMD sucks. Excuse my French. AMD, I lost money yesterday. It's in this range. Everyone keeps going back to it because AMD made us a lot of money over the last few years. But I bought some options on what's it called? On Friday, and I just got out of it. I bought them for $1.50, sold them for 90 cents. I'm like, I am not focusing on AMD. It is just really, really bad. So I would recommend just staying away from it. I still think NVIDIA is in rebuild mode. If you remember, it was June 20th, not June 19th. We were off that day for the celebration of freedom, or something like that. This was the day I called the top in the semis. And I did actually with Liz Clayman, my friend from Fox Business too. So anyway, um, what's going on here now? It's just kind of packing and filling. Yesterday, I tried it early, it didn't work, and then it got better around 11 o'clock. I remember I was buying the video around 122 and a reclaimed 122.60. Played it to go green. We made good money with options. So I still have a little bit on, and I have a little bit of options on. And right now, Nvidia it's only down $1.10. So if you're going to focus on a semi, I would say maybe Nvidia goes red to green. I probably will focus on that too a little bit to buy it and see how it goes. It's pulled back. It's corrective phase. Some guys like, well, last time Nvidia did this, which is true. It wound up going all the way down to, like 20% off highs. So at this point, it's just still in this phase. But it's something that could make some money today. Again, it's trying to figure itself out here. You have a low, now you have a higher low, 118.83. And we'll see. It's day in the life. This isn't like rocket science. I'm not trying to. This isn't a big money trade, but you can make some money if today Nvidia holds 118 and goes green. It's trying to build a little bit, and then this descending trend line will come down, and then we'll see if it acts better. But anyway, the semis have not been exactly where the action is. It's just been a two-way trade. SMCI and Avago are tough. AVGO finally, showed a little relative strength. It splits on July 10th. My buddy Brian is killing it with this stock. He actually called the top here when I called the top in the semis. This was a day early. And now it seems like you could be long versus 1564, turning up a little bit. See if that continues. And maybe there'll be a nice post earnings play. Bitcoin is kind of interesting. Bitcoin finally had a move, off the lows. It wasn't like a breakout move. It was just a trade off of, off of what's it called? Off of that bull flag or whatever you want to call it. So this is what this is interesting. Now I think if Bitcoin could hold here going across, maybe there's a chance that this starts a new active sequence to fill this void here. Most active traders that are in my community got out of Bitcoin around 68,000 when it failed here, and then some got back in right here when it broke above this. Okay, two stocks that acted very well yesterday. You had Mara that had a big breakout finally for those people who've been trading Mara. Okay, so today it's probably down a little bit. So what you want to do is buy a little bit, to go red to green. If this is any good, it should hold half. And then at some point, if Bitcoin's going back towards 66 or 68,000, chances are Mara is going to continue. I went with CLSK. I'm long this right now. A lot of people like Red Dog. This is the quality miner. I don't know that much about all these miners and all, I don't really trade that many crypto type of, offshoots or whatever you want to call it. But this has been going sideways now since literally February. A lot of people like this. So I was like, you know what? I'll buy it at the bottom end of the range. So I have some stock. I have a little options. We'll see if it works its way back up, but it's going to need, the help of Bitcoin. It goes when Bitcoin wants to go. So question is, will Bitcoin go again? I think Ethereum, Ethereum and Bitcoin are the only two that I would accumulate over time. If you're an asset allocator. Every other altcoin, just trade them because they could be up 500% in 6 months, and then they can go down 99% when the correction hits. But anyway, that's that. What's it called? I kind of like, some people are like, what about Reddit? This is an interesting pattern. It was a new issue, that came out, and it's been going sideways. It's coming right into this zone. Stock, if Reddit's going to go and break above 66 or break above 69, chances are the market's got to hold in here. It's not going to do it on its own. But this is kind of decent under accumulation. Just another thought. People like Red Dog. You've never traded Reddit before. I bought a little options. I have some stuff on. What space? Whatever. Yeah. Lily. Okay, Lily. Lily is what a friggin' awesome stock, right? This was the first power plays we put on for 2024. Okay, right here at 587. And then if you remember, once it was consolidating like this, literally, for 6 months, we started buying the options here. And It went as high as what yesterday? 916.83. What's it doing this morning? Lily is down $1. At this point, it's just trending. It's, if you want to keep buying dips, holding the 8-day, we're like Red Dog. Where could this go? Usually, law of high numbers is probably on its way to 1,000. Tell you a funny story. My really good friend Eugene, if he's watching, okay, his daughter is Lily. She's 10 years old. When Lily was born, I think he bought a few hundred shares of Lily to to celebrate her birthday. P.S. After all the splits, he's got 1,000 shares. He's never wanted to pay taxes. His cost basis is 40, and he's up about $850,000. That'll pay for her wedding, her college, and everything. Thank goodness he didn't name her Penelope, because look at Pfizer. Pfizer is not the same story as Lily. It's done absolutely nothing. Actually, Pfizer's kind of tight here if you want to take a look. But just a funny story how kind of like when you go to a horse race, you're like, oh, I want to bet, Red Dog Special because I'm Red Dog, and you have no idea about the horse, and Red Dog Special wins. So anyway, actually look at this Pfizer. Looks like maybe something could happen here on the weekly. But you look at Lily, wow, look at that. And I begged him 3 different times to sell it. Just goes to show you, as like professionals, we always want to take profits. But he's like, no, I don't want to pay taxes. And because he doesn't want to pay taxes, he's been holding this the entire time. And what a trend. What a stock. Holy cow. Chances are it splits and continues. Lily's, been, like the NVIDIA of the semis. Lily has been of, of the weight loss drugs. For me, to be honest, I'd rather see you guys, go in the sauna, go in the ice barrel, go for a run, take an ultimate conditioning class, watch what you eat, instead taking pills. But who am I to judge? Anyway, let's move on. Lastly, I haven't really been active in the banks, but the banks have acted well too. JP Morgan, look at that move. Remember when it really sliced everybody out right here? Then they rebuild, and it took from May 20th to June 27th, over 5 weeks to rebuild after this candle. So that's why you always want to check in on things and, waiting for them to go. And lastly, ENVX. I bought a little bit yesterday just because everybody always keeps talking about this and talking about it and talking about it. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'll put on a little bit just in case to watch. So some people say, Red Dog, what's your tier system like? Well, what I like to do is I like to put on a feeler where it doesn't really matter if it does much. I'll lose a little, make a little, but it's something that keeps my attention on. So if something does happen with volume and news, it can go. What's it doing this morning? It's probably down a little bit. ENVX, it's down 19 cents, not a big deal. If I were, I would say if this is any good, it should not break 1375 or it shouldn't break 1459. It holds here and starts to go. I'll add to it. So I only have a feeler on there just to be social. Sometimes Red Dog likes to be social. I am a social guy, and I do respect those in my community. A lot of people tried to get me into snow. Okay, I'll give it to the Wall Street Engine. I saw him post this, and when snow had its day one, snow's been broken for quite some time, but then you get a candle like this. Some people like, Red Dog, what's your day count rule like? I'm like, well, a day one, which is a wake up igniting candle, sometimes leads to day 3 or 4. And here is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Day 4, you're usually trimming, not buying. But anyway, so here we are. Let's just go back one more time to the SPYs. You have this upper range. The question is, does upper support hold? Do things go red to green? Tomorrow is a day till 1 o'clock. The SPYs right now are only down $1.90, still about 80 cents above where they were yesterday. Hopefully today we could buy some things to go red to green and trade around positions and add cash flow. And if things continue, we'll make a lot of money. So if you're an active bull and you're holding a bunch of positions and massaging a portfolio approach, which I've been doing now for a while, I'm actually back at my high watermark, thank goodness. I was down about 6 figures at some point in the second quarter and had a huge run with a lot of things that finally started working. And now I'm trying to tack it together. And that's after heart surgery, by the way. And thanks for everyone's well wishes. For those of you who who are kind of new and like, Red Dog, what was that picture of you in the hospital? Well, to make a long story short, I had poison ivy about 8 weeks ago, went to get a prescription of prednisone because I'm very allergic. And the doctor did my vitals. And she's like, wait, that's a heart murmur. I'm like, what the hell is a heart murmur? And she's like, well, it's something that shouldn't be happening. Send me for an echocardiogram, and they found out that my mitral valve wasn't closing. So they're like, you need surgery. I'm like, I need surgery. I'm like, I just did the ice barrel for 220 days. Like, it has nothing to do with that. You're in great shape. Your Escalade is friggin' running as smooth as possible, but you have a nail in your tire. And if you don't take that nail out of your tire, yeah, maybe you could drive your car for a little while, but at some point, your tire is going to blow up. You're going to go off the side of a cliff, and your car will be wrecked. So get the nail out of your tire. So I was like, all right. So P.S. I had heart surgery about 4 weeks ago, and now after 4 weeks, you're allowed to do a few things. That's why you saw some videos of me running this weekend. I was in my sauna and ice barrel a little bit also, and the road to recovery. Well, I will say is I was supposed to actually have my surgery tomorrow. Tomorrow is the date. Okay. But what I did is I took the earlier date because it was awarded to me. So what I would say to you, what I learned is face your fears or face your problems, get it done. If I didn't jump on that date 4 weeks ago, I'd be waiting to go in tomorrow. So the bottom line is do what you got to do when you got to do it, get it done. Don't put it off. So this way you can move on. And again, for today, here is your important level. Does it hold and go green? Can Amazon go green? Could Apple go green? Could some high beta tech? Oh, energy. Yes. I did start buying some of the XLE. I see a lot of people focusing on this chart also, not just me. It's fine. We are technicians. It's not proprietary product, but I do think if this is going to be any good, it's got to hold 90 and start a new trend, right? So for me, I'm like, the 93s are really cheap. So I bought the July 19s to have, and I'm still holding Oxy. Okay. This is my big energy portion of my portfolio, which energy doesn't really move well, but hey, maybe it will start. All right, guys, good luck today. I'll see you at the end of the day.